Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And I thought I would let you guys know I am not wearing any pants. I'm going to start doing these without pants. I'm going to set a new trend. When we talk about current events in the online fitness world, anyone talks about other fitness YouTubers, no pants. Because if you train legs, you can get away with that. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing. Work on skill to my crafting a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Be Shrunk. Be Shrunk. Because that boy is catching a lot of hate lately. A lot of hate. I almost feel bad for the kid. Well, I would feel bad for the kid if he actually knew anything about training before he started marketing all this stuff and got to several 100,000 subscribers. But he doesn't. And that's the point. I've noticed a lot of channels are slamming him. I've been slamming him. Some other no-name channels have been slamming him. Yeah, you guys know who I'm talking about. Elgin's been slamming him. I mean, is Elgin even talking about me anymore? What's up with that? I'm a little worried that Elgin isn't paying attention to me and talking about me. He's busy talking about B-Shred. You need to focus on what matters, son. Be spreading my name around. Can't have you slacking off. And of course, Jeff Cavalier Athlete X has really slammed him. And I think that's what's hurt him. Because I've noticed, I went over to check, because some people said, hey man, he deleted his videos. Like, what? I went to check. Yeah, he deleted all those videos about flies. Looks like several of his videos he's deleted. Because he's gotten so much criticism for them that he realized, I probably need to pull these down. Not only that, he hasn't made a video in a week. Hasn't made a video in a week. In like 7 or 8 days. He was making several a week. Alright. He's quit for a little while. Last video has over 2,000 dislikes. The hate is strong. And some people would say, well, you spurred that on. Maybe. I don't know if mine really made that big of an impact. I think, honestly, Jeff Cavalier probably had the biggest impact. Because let's be honest here. All the rest of us, me, Elgin, other people, we are not as big as Jeff is. We're just not. We don't have the following he has. This guy has millions of subscribers. Millions of subscribers. So he probably had the biggest impact, but at a certain point, you've got to look at it and go, okay, but here's the thing. This guy really shouldn't be giving fitness advice. A lot of people say, well, some people say that about you. Yeah, they do, but at least people get results with what I give out. I actually know what I'm talking about. Have been a competitive athlete. I know how to get people big. I know how to get people strong. I know basic nutrition, health, basic sports sciences. I actually help people. We'll do this whole bodybuilding thing, but that's kind of the point. You really only have a couple of options. If you really want to be successful in this game, YouTube fitness, you better very seriously look the part, which means you probably are going to need to be on 55-gallon drums of Tren. Or you better know what you're talking about. There's no real middle ground. You either have to look unreal, or you better be very smart and very knowledgeable about training and diet, nutrition. You better be. That's your only two options, or you're not going to make it in this business. And the problem is that he's neither one. Just a skinny guy. He trained his biceps and delts a little bit. Doesn't have very much muscle mass, and I mean that. A lot of people said, well, no, what do you mean that most people could have as much as the size as he does in a year of training? No, they can't. Yeah, they can. If you train like he does, you won't be there in a year. But if you follow a basic, decently written beginner's program, yeah, you could be there in a year. All right, and I understand he gets relatively lean, but I'm talking about just overall muscle mass in the upper body. He doesn't have that much. It's not that difficult to get there. And a lot of people aren't trying to get very big, and I understand that. But you could get there pretty quick. If that's your goal, not that difficult to get to the size he's at. It's not that hard. The problem is that you've got that, but he doesn't have the ultra impressive Photoshop trend and HGH physique that really sells on YouTube. He doesn't, and he doesn't really have knowledge. He doesn't know basic exercises. I mean, he literally didn't know the difference between a Romanian and a conventional deadlift while trying to do a 15-minute long video talking about them and teaching. doesn't know how to perform a bench press correctly, makes up all sorts of silly fluff exercises, doesn't understand what exercises do hurt you and why. He has a very, very rudimentary knowledge of training. This isn't someone who's particularly qualified. In fact, I'm going to say he should probably go read something like Starting Strength. That'd be a good idea. You know, before he makes any more videos, it would be a good idea if he went and picked up a basic book like Starting Strength, learn the names of all the basic exercises, how to perform them, how to teach them, and do go from there. That would be a good start. Learn how to actually perform the barbell squat correctly. Learn how to perform the bench press correctly, the overhead press, a barbell row, a chin-up. You know, basic exercises. Learn how to perform them correctly. Learn the mental cues for them so that you can teach people basic stuff. Because he doesn't know these things, and that's a problem. That is a major problem. So that's where he should probably start. Read Starting Strength. Then, after that, instead of little trendy fluff and pump, maybe he could read some more advanced books. A couple directions. He could go read maybe Super Training. He could read Practical Programming. He could go get his hands on some physiology text. That'd be a good idea. Again, learn the basics of training programming. Because the videos that he took down show that he really didn't know a lot, and that's the reason he took them down. He got clowned so hard by Athlete X that he had to take those videos down, because people basically showing up and he looked dumb. That's the reality of it. He really didn't know what he was talking about. He was just making stuff up, talking about isometrics and all this other nonsense. And I'm sorry, guys, isometrics does have its place in sports specific training, but if you're trying to actually gain muscle or lose body fat, if you're just pursuing body composition, isometrics should be the very last thing you ever think about. In fact, you probably don't need to know that word. That word in anything involving isometrics is not useful to you if your goals are body composition related. If you're just trying to gain muscle and lose body fat, you don't need to know about isometrics. Isometrics are only important for sport-specific applications, where you need static strength at a specific joint angle in your sport at a competitive level. And even then, you may not need to actually train for it. You might only need to start training for it when you get to the Olympics. All right, that's a very specialized thing. And I'm not saying it doesn't have its place, but the overwhelming majority of people have no reason to train any sort of isometric strength outside of a sport-specific context. You know, and he's talking about stuff like that, and to the general layperson who's just trying to learn to work out, it's completely useless. Teach them the basic exercises. Teach them the basic exercises. And he doesn't know the basic exercises, and that's scary. Just like a lot of personal trainers you see out there didn't forever. Now we're seeing personal trainers who are doing a good job. You know, I see personal trainers all the time teaching people how to squat, how to press. I've seen personal trainers teaching the power clean. I've seen personal trainers teaching middle-aged women the power clean, and the squat, and the deadlift, and the overhead press, and then GPP work and stuff, right? There's personal trainers doing that now. The industry's changing. And if people on YouTube fitness can't get out of these old, outdated paradigms that the personal training industry used to con people and bodybuilding magazines used to con people for decades, and they don't get with the times, they are going to fall by the wayside. When you have the average personal trainers at a lot of gyms, there are gyms now where the average personal trainer has more knowledge of training than some of these fitness YouTube guys. Guys like V-Shrunk. They actually teach people to squat to parallel. They teach them how to perform the deadlift, power clean. If they're doing that and fitness YouTubers can't even keep pace with these entry-level personal trainers, that'll be the end of you guys. The times are changing, and that's what I'm trying to tell people. You need to understand that. This fluff and pump nonsense is dying out everywhere outside the little tiny bodybuilding niche. It's dying out. Commercial gyms have functional fitness areas. I see commercial gyms now. I know of at least 3 commercial gyms that I have walked inside of in the last month that have at least 8 racks and 3 to 6 Olympic lifting platforms and sleds and prowlers. And I'm not talking about specialized strength gyms, guys. We're talking commercial gyms, Globo gyms. All right? The only place you're about to see, I think, coming up before long, the only place you're going to see this fluff and pump is eventually going to be Planet Fatness and bodybuilding specific gyms that cater to pro bodybuilders and people who want to train under them. That's about the only place you're going to see all this stuff, I predict, within the next 5 years. YouTube fitness better catch up. And a lot of people are. A lot of people are, but a whole lot are not. And guys like V-Shrunk are trying to sell this old paradigm of not having to know anything about training and just doing some silly little fluff and pump and not learning the actual effective stuff. They're going to die out. He better keep up with the times. And like I said, at the very least, before he makes another video, it would probably be a good idea if he goes and reads at least something like Starting Strength. Probably be a real good start. That would be a good start. Learn the basic exercises, learn how to perform them and how to teach them, and then branch out from there. Because again, he's not going to survive the onslaught he's getting, the backlash he's getting at this point. His channel will die out. Particularly when guys like Jeff start knocking him down. That's just the reality of it. It is what it is. Alright guys, well that's really all I have to say on that today. And I want to remind you, I started a Patreon last week, and thank you to the 33 people who signed up for it. So go check that out if you want to see my other content that I don't put up on YouTube. Obviously the majority of my content is here, but I have some specialized content there. It's going to be unique and a little bit different than what I do here. And that will continue to grow over time also, so go check it out. It's in my About tab. So I hope this has been informative, and if not informative, at least amusing. And I will talk to you guys next time.